I'm
Emily.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Emily.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Zach.
Good morning. So you have 15 minutes, so I'll put a timer on for you, and I'll give you a 5 when it's 5 minutes left. Okay.
Ready?
15%. 15 percentage points are how much more likely high school students with a concentration in CTE are to graduate than the national average. We are YEET, the Young Entrepreneurship Education Team. I'm Zach.
I'm Emily. And I'm Jess. We had the opportunity to go out to middle schools to teach them about the benefits of entrepreneurship. We took part in EPP, the Entrepreneurship Promotion Project.
Because each of us had not realized our passion for entrepreneurship until high school, we believed it would be beneficial for middle school students to learn the bells and whistles of entrepreneurship before they entered high school.
So we had a wide range of middle schools we could choose from, but we decided to focus in on Salem, Apex, Holly Grove, and Mills Park, because these students will probably be filtering into Apex Friendship, and we wanted to relate to them as much as possible.
After we decided what project we were going to take part in, it was time to launch the project. We first started by being grouped by a deck advisor, based on our strengths, weaknesses, interests, and personalities. We then read over the guidelines as a team and had a 10-minute meeting to discuss any questions we might have. We then established expectations and goals for each other, like giving our 110% into this project, and also listing any constraints we might have, like extracurricular activities. We wanted to establish this so we had an expectation for all of our group members. We then signed an innovation charter and had all of our signatures so we could hold each other accountable.
One of our first topics of discussion after being put together was assigning specific roles for each member of the group. Everyone having a role would make it easier to divide up workload and allow the team to work more efficiently. By writing down and evaluating each of our strengths and weaknesses, we were able to assign suitable roles that would bolster everyone's strengths.
You're probably wondering right now, what even is YEET?
YEET stands for the Young Entrepreneurship Education Team, but YEET is also a slang term meaning excitement, and it's commonly used amongst teenagers, and it actually came up from a Vine. So basically we want to correlate YEET, excitement, with entrepreneurship with the students. So the middle school students would exactly know YEET, it means excitement. The logo is red, white, and blue because those are our school colors. And we want to incorporate a globe because one of our main themes was entrepreneurship is everywhere, it's global. We also had a cap to represent that we are an education team.
So as a team, we wanted to make a statement that kind of summarized everything we wanted to accomplish with this project. That's how we came up with this. Our mission is to educate middle schoolers about the benefits of entrepreneurship in hopes of better preparing them for the future.
We thought visiting the middle schools would be most fitting during none other than Global Entrepreneurship Week, November 14th through the 20th.
When we came up with what activities we want to conduct with the middle schoolers, we want them to be informative, engaging, and interactive.
Our main theme or message to the middle schoolers was entrepreneurship is everywhere.
When we came up with activities, we wanted to focus on 4 main objectives: defining entrepreneurship, learning the ideation process, evaluating the motives of entrepreneurship, and the characteristics of an entrepreneur.
So with these schools, we are limited to about 45 minutes per class. And that's how we made a really engaging presentation that kept the students interested in what we were teaching and made sure that they got their own point of view of what entrepreneurship is. And through it, with our main theme was EIE, so we decided to make a map activity that helped our theme. And then also in the end, we had a review of our presentation through a Kahoot. And throughout this whole presentation, we gave them lollipops to keep them engaged and encouraged.
This was the map activity that we used during each of the presentations to the middle schools. As you can see here, these are the boxes that the middle schoolers would put the logos that they received. Each box corresponds to a highlighted shopping center on the Apex map.
After it was time to execute the project and how we accomplished our goals. We first started by using a decision-making matrix. We brainstormed many ideas for objectives, possible objectives to teach the students. We then weighed out the pros and cons and narrowed it down to our top 4.
So I was the director of communications, and I made sure to communicate to the teachers at these middle schools what we wanted to accomplish with the kids, and we made sure to give them an outline of our presentation too. And they communicated back with us telling them, these are the classes we have open, and so as a team we decided to use the classes that were mostly related to business and entrepreneurship, so they were able to get an idea of what it is.
When we began looking for ways to make our presentation more unique and relatable, we had the idea to give the students actual advice from entrepreneurs in the Triangle area. Enter Incubator and Co-working Space HQ Raleigh. We got into contact with the HQ, and they were able to connect us with up-and-coming entrepreneurs under their roof. We sent these entrepreneurs a survey with a few questions on their experience as startup owners. We incorporated some of their responses into our presentation to the middle schoolers.
Chapter involvement was key in our project because this was a chapter project. We would present to a class of around 30 chapter members every week, and they would give us constructive criticism. This helped us get better and improve our presentation. We also had an advice video that we showed the middle school students. We interviewed some chapter members on their thoughts on DECA and why they chose to pursue DECA, and we thought this would help middle school students see a perspective from high school students. We also had a Wordle where we asked some chapter members one word they use to describe entrepreneurship. This helps show the students that entrepreneurship is more than just owning your business. It shows leadership and taking a risk. We also had volunteering. We found that a lot of our chapter members were really intrigued by our project and really wanted to take part in it. When Zach couldn't make it for one of our presentations, Daniel actually volunteered and said, I would love to come and present, and he fit in right well. Also, our DECA advisors helped us throughout this whole process, giving us advice and criticism.
So an important part of all of this was keeping a well laid out project schedule.
Being the project manager, I was in charge of conducting weekly meetings with our team. We also had agendas that were available to all of us through our Google Drive. Zach was in charge of keeping minutes. This helped us keep in charge of our time management and also keep track of any deadline dates that we might have. We also had a Google Drive with organizing all of our documents into folders and spreadsheets. This is an example of a spreadsheet we used for our deadline dates. As you can see, it shows the status, whether the task is in progress, incomplete, or complete. Priorities, due dates, who's going to complete the task, and any extra notes that we may have.
So with the schools, we chose times that would not only not conflict with our school schedule, but also work for them too. And we made sure to pull out days to prep for each school.
Throughout our project, team management was of the utmost importance, especially when we hit obstacles. Being able to rebound and stay on track after hitting roadblocks was a huge key to the success of our project. Our 3 main obstacles being organization, group miscommunications, and shorter presentation time at one of the middle schools. Organization and miscommunication were the easier of the 3 fixes. By creating a Google Drive with countless folders, we were able to stay organized, and our organization stayed pretty decent throughout our project. We also started a group text where each of us could send updates, work assignments, questions, and answers. Now, one of the middle schools that invited us, Salem, gave us a shorter allotted time to present, about 30 minutes, whereas the others had given us about 45 minutes. That made us make some tweaks to our presentation to make it shorter so we could fit into that time.
We experienced many setbacks as a team, whether one of us were slacking off and we weren't working to our full potential. So as a project manager, I made sure to have sit-down conversations one-on-one when I found that we weren't accomplishing what we needed to. So we made sure to identify the problem and discuss any solutions so this wouldn't happen in the future. And just because I was a project manager doesn't mean that, I was off the hook. So I made sure that they called me out if I wasn't doing my full work, and I also evaluated myself as well.
So as we were nearing the end of our project, we got a lot of feedback from the students and teachers.
We asked in a student survey that we handed out to the students, was the presentation entertaining and did you learn something about entrepreneurship? As you can see, a majority of the students said that they found the presentation entertaining and engaging, and also they learned some things about entrepreneurship. This helped us know that we did a good job and we accomplished our goals.
In this second set of survey questions, we asked the students how engaged were they throughout the presentation. Again, this is pretty positive feedback, as most of them answered in the 3 to 5 range, meaning that they're pretty engaged. The second question, we asked them how interested were they in becoming an entrepreneur in the future. This was kind of to get a gauge of whether we sparked a little interest in them after our presentation. And again, that was pretty good in the 3 to 5 range.
So after getting feedback from the students, we realized we kind of wanted to get the point of view of what the teachers thought about our project. So we also sent out a survey to them, and questions ranged from how effective our presentation were, and if they saw that their students were also engaged in what we were teaching them.
We took recommendations very seriously because we wanted to improve in the future. The students recommended that we speak louder, be more interactive, have more hands-on activities, and a more entertaining PowerPoint. They also loved the Kahoot, so they wanted a longer Kahoot game. While the teachers wanted us to focus more on simplicity and the basic concepts of entrepreneurship, maybe not going more into ideation and more complex subjects. They also want to make our entrepreneurs more relatable, like middle school age students, so the students can look up and say, I could be an entrepreneur one day.
After each presentation, we met to discuss the pros and cons of that visit. Doing this helped us buff out any errors and better prepare for the next presentation. Along with doing this, we watched the film that we had taken from the previous presentation. This allowed us to find any trouble spots, like maybe a bad transition or a stutter, and we could practice that to make it better for our next middle school. Once all of our presentations were done, we took all of the survey results and recommendations from the teachers as kind of a big picture improvement for maybe presentations next year or EPP projects to come.
So about a week or so after we presented to the middle schools, we actually got thank you emails from the teachers, and that really made us feel like we did an awesome job. But then we kind of got something we didn't really expect with getting student letters from them telling us how much like entrepreneurship means to them and like that it's now an option and what they can do in the future.
Overall, this project helped us express our passion for entrepreneurship to middle school students, and we were once in their shoes, so it was really important for us to show them that entrepreneurship is a possibility for their future.
We're glad to be able to pave the road for future EPP projects here at Apex Friendship, and to know that we can help the future teams and then they can continue to help others.
I think through this project, we hit one of our main goals, which was prepare the youth in the Triangle area for entrepreneurial opportunity in the future. This was an amazing experience.
And we are
YEET.
Thank you.
Nice. So do you have questions?
Okay, so maybe you said this in your presentation, but would you tell me what Kahoot is?
Oh yeah, so Kahoot is basically a multiple choice game, like a trivia game, where all the students can connect on the device, a laptop or their phone, and a question will pop up on the screen and they'll have like 20 seconds to answer. It's basically like a competition between the students, so whoever's in like the top 5, they got a lollipop, and the students absolutely love that, so.
So this isn't really about your project, but what do you think now about being a teacher?
It definitely takes a lot of work to be able to know like this is what we think will keep the students engaged and like in a way that they can understand it too.
I think it's definitely a possibility because I found that I have a passion for kind of teaching younger students and inspiring them, so I could see that in the future.
Yeah, I think we also found through our research that there is kind of a little niche for more CTE-based education in middle schools, because that's becoming more popular these days in jobs, and I think that would be a pretty cool niche.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.